Three Ancient Keys to Wealth. Timeless Secrets for Building Your Fortune and Training the Mind to Prosper. By Saint Mrui Archives Forward. True wealth is not found in gold, numbers, or possessions. It is first cultivated in the mind. The great sages of the East, from the Tibetan monasteries to the hermits of the Himalayas, understood that fortune flows from consciousness. Before money appears in your hands, it must appear in your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. This book unites the esoteric teachings of the Tibetan mind training, Lojong traditions, with modern, actionable wealth psychology. You are about to learn the three ancient keys that unlock the inner and outer gates of prosperity, wisdom that once guided emperors, alchemists, and modern millionaires alike. Each key is both a principle and a practice. It transforms how you think, feel, and act toward money, work, and purpose. As you read, reflect deeply, journal, and practice the exercises. You will not only build your fortune. Chapter 1: The Law of Inner Gold. Wealth begins in thought. The world is not as it is as you are. There comes a moment in every seeker's life when they realize that gold is not found in the mines of the earth, but in the chambers of the mind. Many wander in search of fortune, chasing coins, positions, fame, only to return empty because they never discovered the true treasury within themselves. The sages of the East, the mystics of the desert, and the wise merchants of ancient cities all guarded one secret: all wealth begins in thought. Before a single coin is minted, before a building rises, before a fortune is amassed, an image, a vibration, a conviction must first take root in the invisible realm of the mind. The hidden treasure within. Every human being carries a map inside them, a path drawn not in ink, but in intuition. This map is the quiet whisper that tells you there is something more, that your life has purpose beyond survival. The ancients called this the alchemy of thought. To them, gold symbolized the perfected state of mind, purified, radiant, incorruptible. They believed that the person who could master their thoughts could master their destiny, and that material gold would naturally flow toward one who had refined their inner gold. Modern science echoes this truth. Neuroscientists have found that your brain's reticular activating system, RAS, acts like a gatekeeper, filtering billions of sensory inputs to show you only what matches your dominant beliefs. If you constantly affirm, "I can't afford it," your mind will find evidence to confirm that. If instead you think, "Opportunities surround me," your perception shifts. You start seeing possibilities where others see obstacles. Your outer fortune follows your inner frequency. The mind as a magnetic field. Imagine your thoughts as currents of energy. Each thought carries a vibration, a tone, whether of abundance or lack. Your emotions amplify those vibrations. When your mind and emotions align toward wealth, not greed but creative expansion, you begin to attract circumstances, ideas, and people that match that state. This is not mystical superstition, it's how consciousness interacts with energy. The universe responds to certainty, not to begging. It mirrors your dominant state of being. When you truly desire something with all your heart, said one sage, the whole world conspires to help you achieve it. Those who have achieved greatness did not simply work harder, they thought differently. They held a vision so strong that even failure became fuel. They turned every obstacle into raw material for transformation. Lead into gold. Turning lead into gold. The alchemists never truly sought to transmute metal. They sought to transmute man himself. Lead represented ignorance, fear, doubt, the heavy metals of the mind. Gold symbolized the enlightened state, clarity, power, mastery. To turn lead into gold was to turn fear into faith, apathy into action, limitation into creation. The furnace was meditation, visualization, and self-discipline. The philosopher's stone, that mythical agent of transformation, was nothing other than a trained mind. A person who has mastered their thoughts can create wealth anywhere, under any economy, in any age. Why? Because wealth is not location, it is vibration. The Tibetan masters taught that the outer world is a reflection of the inner state. If your mind is filled with confusion, your path will appear blocked. If your mind is calm, abundant, and creative, doors will seem to open by coincidence. But it's not coincidence, it's coherence. The inner furnace, mental discipline. The Tibetan mind training texts, Lojong, teach that the mind is like a wild horse, powerful but uncontrolled. If you let it run aimlessly, it drags you through the mud of confusion. If you tame it through meditation, visualization, and self-observation, it carries you to freedom. In the same way, the mind of an average person runs after distractions, the next trend, the next scheme, the next desire. But the disciplined mind moves in silence toward its purpose. It does not shout, it creates. Try this daily mental transmutation practice. Morning visualization. Before you touch your phone, close your eyes and visualize your ideal financial life. Feel it as if it already exists. Don't beg, command through conviction. See yourself acting, serving, succeeding, and being rewarded. Midday awareness. Notice when fear thoughts arise. Catch yourself when you say, I can't, or that's too hard. Transform those into power statements. I am resourceful. I attract solutions. The right people find me. Evening gratitude alchemy. Before sleep, name 3 things that went well, however small. Gratitude is the philosopher's elixir. It multiplies what you have. Do this daily for 21 days, and your entire vibration begins to shift. You'll see coincidences, people calling, new opportunities, unexpected blessings. This is not luck. It is the physics of thought. The farmer in the field. There's an old parable told by a desert mystic. A farmer had a barren field that yielded nothing for years. He cursed the soil, the rain, the weather, until one day an old traveler stopped and said, "The field mirrors the farmer. Change your seed and the earth will answer." The farmer began planting better seeds, tending the soil daily, and blessing his work instead of complaining. Soon the field burst into abundance. Your mind is that field. Your thoughts are the seeds. If you sow fear, you reap scarcity. If you sow confidence, you reap prosperity. The modern equivalent is the entrepreneur who stops blaming the market and starts creating new value, new systems, new energy. The wealthiest individuals are not those who found better conditions, but those who cultivated better thoughts under any conditions. The illusion of coincidence. When your mind aligns with purpose, the world begins to speak in symbols and synchronicities. You meet the right mentor at the right moment. An idea arrives exactly when you're ready to act. To the ordinary, this seems like coincidence. To the trained mind, it is simply the law of resonance in motion. This phenomenon has been whispered in every ancient teaching. The moment you decide with all your being, the universe responds. Not because it serves you, but because you have become one with its creative flow. That is the first law of wealth. Decide, believe, begin. When your decision is total, unseen forces arrange themselves in your favor. Modern reflections, the power of vision. Consider the stories of great innovators of our age. Every empire began with imagination. When a young engineer dreamed of electric cars on every street, the world called him mad. When a girl from a poor village imagined herself teaching millions through a screen, the world laughed. But they persisted because they saw something others could not. They had found their inner gold. Their outer riches were merely a reflection of that inner clarity and faith. Wealth followed, not because they chased it, but because as they became vessels of vision. Their thoughts were so strong, so unwavering, that reality bent to meet them. The same law applies to you. When your purpose becomes clear, when your belief becomes unshakable, wealth will move mountains to find you. The silent alchemist. There are 2 kinds of people in this world: those who wait for wealth to come, and those who generate wealth from within. The silent alchemist works not by shouting or competing, but by aligning. He refines his thoughts until they are pure intention. He trains his emotions until they are stable. He moves through the world like a magnet of calm power. He understands that the mind is both laboratory and temple. In it, ideas are mixed, purified, and crystallized into gold. Each morning he enters that temple through stillness, gratitude, and focus, and emerges with new light to shape his destiny. This is the work of the true wealth builder. Mind training insight. Drive all blames into one. The Tibetan adepts taught a radical principle. Drive all blames into one, the mind. Stop blaming the economy, your upbringing, or your environment, not because they had no influence, but because they no longer define your power. When you take full responsibility for your thoughts, you claim the ultimate freedom, the ability to reshape your reality from within. Responsibility is the threshold between poverty and prosperity. Practical exercise, the thought audit. For 7 days, observe your mental dialogue about money, work, and success. Write down recurring thoughts, then mark each one as empowering plus or limiting minus. Replace every minus statement with a plus counterpart, limiting thought. Transmutation, empowering thought. Money is hard to earn. Money flows through creative service. I'm not lucky. I create my own opportunities. I'm too late to start. I'm right on divine timing. After a week, your emotional tone will elevate. After a month, your actions will transform. After a year, your life will no longer resemble its former self. The golden mindset. To master wealth, you must think in patterns of expansion, not contraction. The poor mind asks, how can I survive? The mind is the true philosopher's stone. Refine your beliefs and your world refines itself. Visualize abundance daily. Feel it as real. Gratitude multiplies, fear restricts. Take responsibility for your mind and fortune follows. Affirmation, my thoughts are gold. My mind is a magnet of abundance. I think, I believe, I act, and the universe responds in kind. Chapter 2, The Sacred Exchange, Mastering Energy, Value, and Flow. All things move by rhythm. To hold too tightly is to suffocate. To give too freely without wisdom is to empty. Wealth is balance. In the old marketplaces of Babylon and the Silk Roads of Asia, the greatest merchants understood that money was not a possession. It was a current, an invisible river of energy flowing through the hands of those who respected its rhythm. They knew that if they hoarded too long, their goods spoiled. If they gave without intention, their strength dwindled. But when they balanced giving and receiving, wealth multiplied naturally. This principle, the sacred exchange, is the second ancient key to wealth. It is the art of harmonizing energy, value, and gratitude so that fortune becomes not a chase, but a dance. The river of energy, everything in existence, from the beating of your heart to the movement of galaxies, flows in cycles. Inhalation and exhalation, day and night. Earning and giving, expansion and rest. Money, too, obeys this universal law of rhythm. When it flows, life feels abundant. When it stagnates, fear arises. The Tibetan sages taught, the mind that clings is the mind that starves. If you fear spending or sharing, you block the natural current of abundance. If you scatter your wealth recklessly, you drain your reserves. The master learns to circulate with awareness, to let energy pass through him while directing it with purpose. Modern economics calls it cash flow. Spiritual alchemy calls it energetic alignment. Both are the same, the intelligent movement of value through channels of creation. Value is the real currency. Gold and paper are symbols. The true currency of the universe is value, the energy you generate through your service, creativity, or solutions. When you create genuine value, wealth inevitably follows, just as heat follows fire. Ancient traders prospered not because they sold the most, but because they provided what others truly needed. Today's millionaires, entrepreneurs, and artists are the same. They understand that money is simply the echo of impact. The more lives you improve, the louder that echo becomes. Serve 1 million people, and you will never worry about a paycheck. The impoverished mind says, how can I get more? The wealthy mind asks, how can I give more, intelligently, beautifully, and sustainably? When you focus on value creation, the energy of wealth becomes inevitable. It gravitates toward usefulness, innovation, and sincerity, the sacred law of circulation. In the Hermetic tradition, there is a saying, that which is not used is lost. The same applies to wealth. Money hoarded without motion begins to decay energetically. Its possessor grows anxious, fearful, or greedy. But when it circulates, invested, donated, or traded, it renews itself through the current of goodwill and creative momentum. Imagine your wealth as water in a great vessel. If you keep it sealed, it becomes stagnant, heavy, and filled with decay. If you pour too much out, you deplete your well. But if you keep it flowing, water out, water in, it stays clear, alive, and abundant. That flow may take many forms: paying your workers fairly and promptly, investing in education, art, or innovation, giving back to the community that supports you, circulating gratitude by rewarding effort and excellence. Each act of circulation strengthens your connection to the universal current. The miser eventually loses his fortune, not by theft, but by stagnation. The giver who circulates wisely never lacks, for the universe replenishes whatever he releases. Energy, emotion, and money. Few realize how emotion directly shapes financial reality. Emotion is energy in motion. Every time you transact, whether buying a meal, tipping a worker, or paying a bill, the emotion attached to that act determines how energy flows back to you. Spend with resentment and you lower your vibration. Spend with gratitude and the energy returns multiplied. This is why the ancients blessed their exchanges. Before each trade, merchants would whisper a small prayer. May this exchange enrich us both. That phrase carried frequency. It set intention, aligning both parties with goodwill and prosperity. You can do the same. Before you pay, pause. Feel gratitude for what you receive. Before you charge, affirm that your work brings genuine benefit. Such small rituals magnetize abundance because gratitude amplifies flow. The exchange of breath in Tibetan practice, there exists a meditation called Tonglen, meaning giving and receiving. The practitioner visualizes inhaling the pain or darkness of the world, transforming it into light within, and exhaling compassion, healing, and wealth of spirit. This practice trains the mind to release fear of loss and to see giving as empowerment, not depletion. Applied to wealth, every time you give, time, skill, or money, imagine breathing out golden energy. Every time you receive a payment, compliment, or opportunity, imagine inhaling that same energy back purified and expanded. Thus, you live in a constant rhythmic exchange, the breathing of abundance. The miser suffocates by holding his breath. The wise one prospers by trusting the inhale and the exhale. Modern examples: the flow in action. 3. The investor with purpose. A woman invests part of her income in startups that align with her values: renewable energy, local communities, art. Her returns multiply, both materially and spiritually. Why? Because she invested in circulation, not extraction. These are not random outcomes. They are reflections of alignment with the universal rhythm of exchange. The mindset of the alchemist trader. To master the sacred exchange, think like an alchemist, not a gambler. An alchemist studies cycles. He knows when to hold, when to release, when to expand, when to retreat. He listens to the inner signs, intuition, inspiration, and synchronicity, and adjusts accordingly. He never fears loss, because he understands that energy never dies, it only transforms. If money leaves your hands with purpose, it will return in another form: knowledge, connection, peace, or opportunity. When you hoard from fear, it leaves anyway, through breakdown, bills, or misfortune. Consider how this law reveals itself in today's world. 1. The entrepreneur who gives before receiving. A modern visionary starts a business not by selling, but by educating. He shares his insights freely online, helps others grow, and offers true value before asking for payment. When his product launches, sales surge, not from manipulation, but from trust. He mastered the sacred exchange. 2. The professional who hoards knowledge. Another worker guards every bit of expertise, fearing others will surpass him. He blocks the flow. His environment grows stagnant. Promotions pass him by. He misunderstood. The more you teach, the more you learn. The more you share, the more the current of life rewards you. The alchemist sees wealth as energy borrowed from the universe to be multiplied through intelligent action and gratitude. He is a custodian, not a prisoner, of his riches. Releasing the fear of poverty. The greatest enemy of flow is fear. Fear contracts your energy. It freezes generosity and blocks intuition. You may cling to money tightly, but in doing so you stop its movement, the same way a clenched fist cannot receive new gifts. Tibetan teachings remind us, attachment is the thief that steals what it clings to. The antidote is trust, not blind faith, but deep knowing that the universe replenishes what circulates with sincerity. Fear says, "What if I lose?" Wisdom says, "What if I give and grow?" You cannot outthink fear, you must outflow it. Every time fear whispers, "Hold back," find a small way to give: a donation, a compliment, a helping hand. That act reopens the current of abundance. Modern economics meets spiritual alchemy. Even in the language of markets, we hear echoes of this truth. Economists speak of velocity of money, how quickly it moves through an economy. When people spend, invest, and create, growth follows. When fear rises and everyone hoards, recessions occur. The world outside mirrors the world within. A nation's prosperity is the collective state of its citizens' consciousness. If fear dominates, flow collapses. If creativity and generosity thrive, wealth flourishes. Thus, each individual becomes a cell in the body of global abundance. Your inner circulation contributes to the world's outer vitality. You are not just earning money, you are participating in the evolution of wealth itself. Mind training practice, the circle of abundance. Every night before sleep, perform this brief reflection. Review the day's exchanges. Every payment, interaction, or favor. Ask, did I give with joy? Did I receive with gratitude? Over time, this practice reconditions your subconscious. It trains your nervous system to associate giving with pleasure, not fear, receiving with humility, not guilt. Soon, abundance feels natural, not forced. The invisible contract. Every time two people exchange energy, they form an invisible contract. If both act with integrity, the contract strengthens their fortune. If one acts with deceit, the energy collapses. Integrity, therefore, is not morality, it is energetic coherence. To cheat, manipulate, or exploit is to poison your own current. You may gain momentary advantage, but the river of wealth will divert from your path. To give honest value and honor your word is to stay in harmony with universal law. From transaction to transformation. The new age of wealth demands a new definition of success. It is no longer about how much one accumulates, but how much one transforms through their exchanges. When your answer is yes, you are practicing the sacred exchange. Wealth built on harmony becomes generational. It endures, blesses, and expands. Real-life case, the conscious creator. There was once a young creator from India who began offering online lessons on ancient breathing techniques. He priced them modestly, but taught with heart. Soon, thousands followed. His income rose not from strategy alone, but from frequency. His sincerity radiated. When asked his secret, he said, I give more value than I charge, and I charge enough to give again. This is the perfect balance, generosity and self-respect entwined. That is how energy stays alive. The mindset shift. From scarcity to circulation. Scarcity is not the absence of money, it is the absence of flow. When you circulate with joy, you begin to see that the world is not a pie to be divided. It is a field that grows when planted. Summary. The second key wealth is energy in motion. The universe rewards circulation, not stagnation. Value, not greed, attracts abundance. Give with joy, receive with gratitude. Fear blocks the current, trust keeps it alive. Integrity keeps the flow pure. You are not earning, you are exchanging energy with the universe. Affirmation, I move with the rhythm of abundance. What I give returns to me multiplied. I circulate wealth with wisdom and gratitude, and life flows through me in endless prosperity. Chapter 3, The Philosopher's Fortune, Purpose, Legacy, and Multiplication. The greatest treasure is not what the hands hold, but what the soul creates in the world of men. 1. The final transmutation. In the ancient temples of Alexandria, alchemists gathered under moonlight with one intention, not merely to make gold, but to become gold. Their secret scrolls spoke of the philosopher's stone, the legendary element said to turn lead into treasure. Yet, to those who truly understood, the stone was no object, it was a state of mind. This third key is that very transformation. It is when a person's pursuit of wealth transcends accumulation and becomes multiplication, not of coins, but of impact, ideas, and legacy. Every person who has truly reached greatness, from ancient sages to modern visionaries, has discovered this. Wealth without purpose decays. Wealth aligned with purpose becomes immortal. 2. The law of multiplication. Once your inner gold is awakened, Chapter 1, and your energy exchange mastered, Chapter 2, a third current begins to move through your life, the current of multiplication. Multiplication is not mere arithmetic. It is creative resonance. It is when the energy you invest through your words, your craft, your vision multiplies in the lives of others and returns amplified. In Tibetan mind training, there is a saying, a single lamp can light 1,000, yet lose no flame. That is the essence of true wealth. You are not diminished by giving. You are expanded. Modern society provides endless examples. A teacher who inspires generations creates more value than any investor. A founder who builds a company that empowers thousands multiplies not just income but identity. A creator who heals or awakens others becomes timeless, their name carried beyond their lifetime. The alchemist multiplies because he understands energy never dies, it evolves. 3. The power of purpose. Purpose is the compass of the philosopher's fortune. Without it, people chase wealth like desert travelers chasing mirages, forever thirsty. With it, every step becomes a miracle. Purpose is not found, it is revealed through action, reflection, and service. To find it, ask yourself, what would I do even if no one paid me? What gift, if fully developed, could lift others from darkness? If I had all the money in the world, what mission would remain? In the alchemical sense, purpose is the fire that sustains transmutation. It is what keeps the cauldron hot while the elements rearrange. Without it, the process halts. With it, everything you touch begins to transform. Exercise, the flame of intention. Each morning, before engaging with the world, place your hand on your chest and repeat silently, "May my work today serve something greater than myself. May what I create return multiplied in beauty, wisdom, and abundance." This practice aligns the subconscious with your higher design, the mind of the philosopher rather than the merchant. 4. The legacy principle. In Tibetan teachings, there's a reflection known as the four remembrances. All things change. Death is certain. The time of death is uncertain. Only your actions follow you. For the wealth-minded philosopher, this is not morbid. It is liberating. You realize that the only true investment is in what outlives you. Your ideas, your impact, your contribution to human evolution. The legacy principle means designing your life so that when you are gone, your wealth continues to feed, teach, or inspire. The entrepreneur who builds an ethical empire that funds education. The artist whose creations awaken generations. The silent benefactor who plants trees whose shade he will never sit under. These are modern alchemists. They've mastered the third key. The highest wealth is to give others the tools to create their own. 5. The threefold expansion. Every legacy rests on three pillars: mind, matter, and meaning. Mind, the clarity of your vision. You must see not only who you are, but who you are meant to become. Practice visualization and mental rehearsal. See yourself guiding others, see your work living beyond you. Matter, the tangible wealth you shape. Build, invest, and structure your creations so they can endure. Treat money as a messenger, not a master. Meaning, the emotional and spiritual impact you leave behind. Every interaction is an imprint. Every act of integrity multiplies unseen wealth. Guard your reputation as sacred currency, for it will open doors your wallet never can. When these three align, you are no longer just rich, you are royal. 6. From success to significance. Modern society celebrates success, numbers, titles, possessions, but ancient wisdoms celebrated significance, what remains when the noise fades. To move from success to significance. Stop asking, "How much can I gain?" Start asking, "How much can I give without losing essence?" A person who earns millions but inspires none is still poor. But a person who awakens others while prospering, that one has reached the philosopher's fortune. Remember, wealth that serves only the self is fragile. Wealth that uplifts others becomes a river, eternal, renewing, alive. 7. Modern parables of multiplication. The innovator. A young coder in Nairobi designs an app connecting small farmers to urban markets. Within a year, hundreds of families rise from poverty. Investors flood in, but he keeps the mission pure. We build tools that feed people. His company thrives, and so does his spirit. The artist. A woman in Paris paints stories of resilience after surviving illness. Her art goes viral. She donates half her profits to cancer research. Her fortune multiplies tenfold. Why? Because purpose magnifies power. The mentor. A retired banker begins teaching financial literacy in schools. Within 5 years, thousands of children understand wealth as service, not greed. He says, "My greatest interest is the interest of others." That's the philosopher's dividend. These are not saints. They are alchemists in modern clothes. 8. The Tibetan teaching of expansion. From the Library of Tibetan Mind Training comes this lesson. The measure of the mind's wealth is its openness. What you hold too tightly dissolves. What you release with intention returns beyond measure. Wealth, then, is not possession, but participation, a dance of giving and receiving with the universe itself. This is the principle of non-attachment in abundance. Be wealthy, but not bound. Own riches, but never let them own you. As you grow richer, let your compassion grow larger. As your influence expands, let your humility deepen. This is how the philosopher becomes immortal. 9. Mind training practice. Breath of multiplication. Each night before sleep, breathe deeply and visualize a golden light in your chest expanding outward. With every exhale, imagine sending your energy into the world, blessing your business, clients, family, and the collective field of prosperity. Repeat silently. May all who cross my path be enriched. May my abundance be their abundance. Within weeks, your energy signature shifts. You begin to attract opportunities that reflect your new vibration, service-driven success. 10. The Great Paradox. The more you serve, the richer you become, materially and spiritually. The more detached you are from the outcome, the more power you possess. The more you give, the more you receive. That is the secret all true masters understood. Wealth is the mirror of inner evolution. The greedy man digs for gold and finds dust. The wise man creates value and finds gold flowing to him. This is the third key, the philosopher's fortune. 11. Final reflection. Pause now and reflect. What legacy are you building? What will the echo of your work sound like in 100 years? The world does not remember those who hoard. It remembers those who transformed lead into light. Be that light. Be the alchemist who turns ambition into compassion, money into meaning, and time into eternity. To multiply wealth is to multiply life itself, not in years, but in depth, purpose, and radiance. Chapter 4. Mind Training for Wealth. Lessons from the Tibetan Classics. The mind, once trained, becomes the true philosopher's stone. It transforms all it touches. 1. The inner workshop of wealth. Before coins, there were thoughts. Before fortunes, there were visions. And before empires, there were minds disciplined enough to believe in them. The ancient Tibetan masters taught that the mind is the root of all realities. Modern people chase external change, new jobs, new investments, new opportunities. But the alchemist works within. He trains the instrument through which all wealth flows, consciousness. From the Tibetan Lojong, mind training texts, one lesson resounds. If you wish to rule the outer world, first conquer your inner one. 2. The 3 levels of mental alchemy. To train the mind for wealth, one must pass through 3 levels of transformation. Purification, clearing the inner rust, transmutation, turning thought into power expansion. Sustaining infinite flow. Level 1, purification, clearing the inner rust. Wealth cannot grow in a polluted mind. Doubt, guilt, envy, and scarcity thinking are like rust eating through the golden vessel of abundance. The Tibetan masters used a practice called Tonglen, the meditation of giving and receiving. It teaches you to breathe in the world's negativity and exhale blessings. Why? Because when you can hold both shadow and light, you become larger than circumstance. Try this. Each morning, inhale deeply and imagine drawing in your fears about money, debts, limitations, comparisons. Then exhale and visualize releasing golden light, wealth, generosity, opportunity, blessing the world. You are retraining your nervous system to see challenge as energy, not threat. The wealthy mind doesn't resist energy, it redirects it. As the Taoist said, he who conquers himself is the greatest warrior. Level 2. Transmutation, turning thought into power. Once the rust is cleared, you learn the art of transmutation, transforming ideas into manifestations. This is where ancient mind training meets modern neuroscience. Visualization, repetition, and emotion create neural patterns, the architecture of reality. Every time you imagine success vividly, the brain fires the same pathways as if it were real. This is not fantasy, it's neuroalchemy. In Tibetan practice, visualization is not daydreaming, it's spiritual rehearsal. A lama visualizes compassion until it becomes his reflex. You must visualize abundance until it becomes your identity. Daily ritual, sit still. See yourself surrounded by golden light, calm, confident, successful. Hear the sounds of gratitude, clients thanking you, opportunities greeting you. Feel the emotions of fulfillment as if already achieved. Do this for 21 days, and the universe begins to align with your inner command. What you hold in attention, you magnetize. What you fear in repetition, you manifest. Choose your focus wisely. Level 3. Expansion, sustaining infinite flow. True wealth is not built, it's maintained through flow. Most people rise then collapse because their identity cannot sustain the altitude. Expansion means training the mind to stay open, calm, and centered even amid abundance. If scarcity made you anxious, wealth might make you restless. Therefore, the master trains for balance. In Tibetan thought, this is equanimity, a mind unmoved by extremes. Practice this mantra: I remain as the sky, open, vast, unshaken by the passing clouds of gain or loss. Your peace is your wealth. Your calm is your magnet. Your balance keeps fortune loyal to you. 3. The Four Mind Treasures. The Lojong teachings describe four treasures of mind, each essential to abundance. Clarity, Rigpa, the awareness that sees reality as it is. Practice mindfulness. Watch your thoughts about money without judgment. Awareness alone begins purification. Compassion, wealth with heart. Be generous not from fear, but from strength. Compassion multiplies influence faster than cunning. Discipline, Tsandru, the power to persist. Set rituals, daily goals, saving habits, acts of service. In Tibet, monks call discipline the mother of miracles. Wisdom Prajna, the insight that all things are connected. Understand that your gain supports others' gain. This dissolves envy and creates confidence in circulation. Together, these treasures form the diamond mind, unbreakable, clear, radiant. 4. The Alchemy of Belief. In the West, we often say seeing is believing, but the alchemist knows believing is seeing. Every fortune begins with belief. Every empire begins with a mind that refuses limitation. To reforge belief, practice mental scripting. Each morning, write in the present tense, I am a magnet for divine opportunities. My wealth serves my purpose, and my purpose multiplies my wealth. Every act of service returns multiplied in prosperity. This repetition, combined with visualization, etches new patterns into the subconscious. Tibetan adepts spent years repeating mantras to rewrite their inner code. You can do the same with wealth consciousness. 5. Modern alchemy. The mind is currency. In our era, attention is currency. Every scroll, every ad, every sound fights for it. But those who have mastered their minds own the new gold mine, focus. They channel it into art, innovation, and leadership. But those who have mastered their minds own the new gold mine, focus. They channel it into art, innovation, and leadership. The scattered mind earns wages. The trained mind creates empires. To practice mental focus, begin each day with 10 minutes of silence. Label distractions as clouds and return to your breath. Then focus on one chosen goal. Visualize its completion with emotion. You are forging attention into intention and intention into manifestation. 6. Emotional alchemy, transforming fear into power. Even the most successful people encounter fear, but fear, like fire, can cook your meal or burn your house. Tibetan masters use the practice of chud, confronting inner demons with compassion. When fear arises, they would say, "Welcome, old friend. What lesson do you bring?" You can do the same. When doubt whispers, "What if I fail?" respond with, "What if I rise?" When guilt says, "You're not worthy of wealth," answer, "I am worthy because I serve." Transform emotion into motion. Each fear conquered becomes a new vault of power within you. 7. The 8-phase wealth meditation. Use this daily or weekly as a mental purification and empowerment ritual. Silence, sit still, breathe. Gratitude, recall 3 blessings you already have. Purification, breathe out all scarcity, fear, and resentment. Visualization, see your higher self surrounded by golden energy. Affirmation, speak your intentions aloud with confidence. Service, imagine your wealth benefiting others. Release, let go of attachment to outcome. Stillness, sit in calm awareness. Abundance already exists. Do this consistently, and your outer world will begin to mirror the inner refinement. 8. From effort to effortlessness. Once the mind is trained, wealth creation becomes play. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer fear loss, you trust the flow. The Tibetan texts say, when the mind rests in its natural state, everything moves in harmony. This is the secret behind luck. It is not random, it is resonance. When your vibration matches abundance, opportunities seek you out. The businessman who closes deals effortlessly, the artist who finds the right patron, the speaker whose message spreads globally, these are not accidents. They are minds in resonant flow. 9. Mind training in modern practice. Case example 1. The visionary entrepreneur. A young woman in Singapore begins meditating daily on gratitude and service. She reframes her work from earning clients to awakening clients. Within a year, her income triples, but more importantly, she feels calm and aligned. Her mind became her marketing. Case example 2. The investor monk. A trader studies emotional balance like a monk studies silence. He journals his triggers and breathes through every impulse. Over time, greed and fear lose control. His portfolio stabilizes, but his peace becomes priceless. Both are alchemists, training the mind before touching the market. 10. The diamond wealth consciousness. When you truly internalize the teachings of mind training, something extraordinary happens. You stop reacting and begin responding. You stop chasing and start receiving. You stop forcing and begin flowing. This is diamond wealth consciousness, indestructible awareness rooted in purpose, guided by compassion, and sustained by clarity. You move through life as a quiet force. People feel your centeredness. Opportunities orbit you naturally because stability is the rarest frequency on Earth. 11. Final reflection. Sit with this truth. The richest person is not the one who has the most, but the one whose mind has become unshakably serene. Chapter 5, Modern Alchemy, Digital Prosperity and the New Wealth Era. In the world of spirit, wealth is energy. In the world of matter, wealth is creation. In the new world, wealth is connection. The dawn of a new alchemy. The alchemists of old worked in hidden chambers, surrounded by fire, metals, and mystery. Their dream was to transmute base metals into gold, yet the true gold was never found in lead or mercury. It was hidden in consciousness. Today, we are the new alchemists. Our chambers are no longer stone laboratories. They are the studios, laptops, and luminous screens of the modern creator. Our metals are not ore and flame. They are ideas, attention, and digital energy. We stand in the fourth revolution of wealth, where creativity and consciousness replace labor and land. It is the age of digital prosperity, an era where ideas travel faster than caravans and influence becomes a new form of currency. The principle of transmutation in the modern world. In traditional alchemy, transmutation meant transforming one substance into another, but in higher alchemy, it means transforming thought into opportunity, energy into enterprise, and time into freedom. Every entrepreneur, artist, or visionary who rises from obscurity to greatness is an alchemist. They take something invisible, a vision, a feeling, a conviction, and through discipline and creative fire, they make it visible. When you write a story, design a product, build an app, teach a concept, or offer a service, you are performing the act of transmutation. You are turning imagination into gold. But transmutation is not mere work, it is ritual. It demands the same purity of intention that the ancients required before touching the philosopher's stone. To create lasting wealth, your digital creations must be born not from greed, but from service, not from imitation, but from inspiration. Tibetan philosophy teaches that the mind is like a mirror. When clouded by desire and fear, it distorts everything it reflects. But when it is polished by awareness and discipline, it can reflect the truth of reality and attract prosperity like sunlight focusing through glass. Thus, the first step in modern alchemy is purifying the mind. Ask yourself, why do I want to build wealth? Whom do I wish to serve through my work? What truth am I expressing through my craft? When the why is clear and rooted in consciousness, the how begins to appear like gold veins in a mountain. The law of digital resonance. In the ancient temples of Tibet, monks spoke of a mysterious force called tendrel, meaning auspicious interconnection. It described how inner intention creates outer circumstances. In modern terms, this is the law of resonance. Everything you create online, every post, product, video, book, or course, carries your vibration. If it is built with genuine service, emotional truth, and inner clarity, it will attract those who resonate with it. This is the secret behind every great brand or movement. Resonance before revenue. People do not buy from logic, they buy from alignment. They are drawn by frequency, not just features. That's why some creators turn one video or one idea into empires, while others spend years in silence. The difference is energetic coherence. To practice digital resonance, apply this formula. Clarify your core frequency. What emotion or transformation do you bring? Is it inspiration, peace, empowerment, joy, wisdom? Create from presence. Do not rush to produce. Take time to align your inner energy before you express. Amplify through authenticity. Share your real story, your real lessons, your real evolution. People feel truth more than polish. Serve, don't chase. Wealth flows naturally when you serve from love rather than lack. When your work vibrates in harmony with your inner state, wealth and recognition follow with ease. This is modern alchemy at work. From attention to ascension. In this new age, attention has become the gold of the digital economy, but few realize that attention is energy, and like gold, it must be refined, valued, and invested wisely. Modern creators who master attention become digital sages. They don't merely chase views, they craft transformation. Every post becomes a mantra. Every project becomes a ritual of creation. Tibetan teachings speak of Gom, meditation through repetition and immersion. In the same way, your digital presence becomes powerful when it is consistent and conscious. Each time you show up with clarity, you strengthen the energetic bond between your audience and your intention. This is the alchemy of influence, transforming attention into trust and trust into prosperity. When you truly understand this, you no longer beg the world to see your worth. You radiate it. The new wealth builders. Let's look at examples of the new alchemists. A young artist who turns digital art into NFTs and builds a global audience. She uses her earnings to fund education in her community. A teacher who creates an online academy, reaching thousands of students across continents, turning wisdom into sustainable income. A healer who shares meditations through YouTube and Spotify, turning inner peace into a profession. A writer who self-publishes, leveraging digital distribution to touch hearts worldwide without needing a publisher. These are the new magi of modern times, those who understand that the marketplace is the monastery and the internet is the new philosopher's chamber. Their secret is not luck, it's alignment with the laws of energy and value. They honor their audience, they give before receiving. They trust that the universe rewards the giver who grows. Mind training for modern wealth. From the Tibetan library of Lojong, Mind Training, we find timeless practices that can be reinterpreted for digital prosperity. Transform adversity into opportunity. When algorithms change, markets crash, or results slow, train the mind to see the gift hidden inside the challenge. Every obstacle contains a code for your next level. Exchange self for service. Instead of obsessing over how much you'll earn, focus on how deeply you can serve. The universe measures value in energy, not currency. Abide in equanimity. Don't let the highs inflate you or the lows deflate you. In consistency lies mastery. Wealth flows to those who remain steady amidst change. See all beings as customers of spirit. Whether they buy or not, every viewer, listener, or reader is part of your spiritual ecosystem. Serve them with gratitude, not expectation. Meditate on impermanence. The digital world moves fast. Platforms rise and fall. True wealth is the skill, awareness, and inner peace you carry, not the platform you stand on. By practicing these, you transmute stress into serenity, scarcity into creativity, and effort into elegance. You become the alchemist of your modern reality. The fifth element, conscious innovation. In the alchemy of the ancients, 4 elements, earth, water, air, and fire, represented the ingredients of all matter. But the fifth element, called ether, was the spirit that unified them all. In modern wealth, this fifth element is conscious innovation. It is not just about creating new technology or trends, it is about embedding awareness into creation. It means building companies, art, and systems that uplift humanity, not exploit it. The future billionaires of the new age will not be those who manipulate attention, but those who elevate consciousness. They will be remembered as philosophers, artists, and healers who use digital tools as sacred instruments of change. Practical modern alchemy exercises. The morning invocation, 7 minutes. Upon waking, place your hand on your heart and declare, I am a vessel of wealth, wisdom, and wonder. My creations serve the highest good and return to me multiplied. The digital temple. Before creating or posting online, light a candle, breathe deeply, and visualize golden light flowing through your hands into your work. This purifies your digital energy field and aligns your creations with prosperity. The 72-hour rule. When you receive inspiration for a project, act within 72 hours, even a small step. Alchemy demands movement. Energy unused decays into doubt. The gratitude ledger. Keep a daily record of wealth you gave and received, not just money, but attention, kindness, opportunity, and knowledge. This retrains your subconscious to see abundance everywhere. The new golden age. We are no longer miners of gold. We are miners of consciousness. Every idea you refine, every product you shape, every act of service you give adds another piece of light to the great mosaic of human evolution. When ancient monks meditated in Himalayan caves, they dreamed of a world where wisdom could spread instantly, where compassion could reach millions. You live in that world now. To waste it on comparison and fear would be to forget the sacred opportunity of your birth. But to use it with awareness, to create, serve, and uplift, is to fulfill the alchemist's prophecy, the day when spirit and matter become one. Closing invocation. Gold no longer sleeps in mountains. It flows through minds awake with purpose. The wise do not chase fortune, they become it. In the next and final chapter, we shall bring all these keys together to become the alchemist of destiny, mastering not just wealth, but the very art of living. Chapter 6. Becoming the alchemist of destiny, the final key. The one who knows himself transforms lead into light, and every moment into a treasure. The return to the inner chamber. In every great journey, there comes a moment when the traveler realizes that the treasure he sought was not across oceans or buried under earth, but within. So it is with the pursuit of wealth. After studying the law of inner gold, the sacred exchange, and the modern alchemy of prosperity, we arrive at the highest key, self-mastery, the art of becoming your own philosopher's stone. For centuries, mystics searched for that mythical stone said to turn all metals into gold and grant eternal life. Yet the truth is simpler and more profound. You are the stone, and consciousness is the alchemical fire that transforms your being. When your thoughts are refined by awareness, your emotions by compassion, and your actions by purpose, you become the alchemist of destiny. You no longer chase wealth, you radiate it. The 4 fires of transformation. To become the alchemist of your own fortune, you must awaken 4 inner fires. These are not material steps, but states of consciousness that shape reality. 1. The fire of awareness, seeing the invisible. The Tibetan masters taught that all phenomena arise from the mind. In the marketplace of life, most people see only the visible, numbers, trends, profits, losses. But the alchemist sees patterns of energy, the subtle interplay of thoughts, intentions, and cause. Before you act, learn to see. Before you speak, learn to feel. Awareness is the fire that burns illusion. When you enter any business or relationship with full awareness, your perception becomes sharp as a blade. You sense timing, you sense people, you sense flow. That awareness itself becomes a magnetic field for opportunity. 2. The fire of purpose, turning vision into direction. Without purpose, even gold turns to dust. Purpose gives shape to wealth. It gives meaning to mastery. In the alchemical texts, purpose was symbolized by the sun, the eternal light that guides transformation. When you connect your work to a mission greater than yourself, to creation, healing, or enlightenment, you ignite solar energy within. This is why true wealth builders are rarely driven by greed. They are fueled by service, legacy, or love. Their empires are reflections of their inner clarity. Ask yourself each dawn, if I could contribute one gift to humanity through my wealth, what would it be? Let that answer guide your decisions, your investments, your creativity. Purpose aligns your wealth with destiny. 3. The fire of discipline, turning gold into structure. Awareness and purpose are the vision. Discipline is the vessel. The alchemist said that without the crucible, the container that holds the fire, all transformation is wasted. In the same way, discipline creates structure for divine energy to express itself in form. Whether you are building a company, a career, or a craft, your daily habits are the sacred rituals that shape your reality. The mind-training masters of Tibet spoke often of Gom, the power of repetition. They knew that what you do every day rewires not only the mind, but the universe around you. Modern neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. The ancients called it karma in motion. Wake up early, guard your energy, refine your skills, record your insights, keep your agreements. Every small act of consistency is an alchemical seal upon your destiny. 4. The fire of grace, becoming a channel. The last fire cannot be taught, only invited. Grace is the mysterious current that flows when you have aligned thought, purpose, and discipline. It is the universe whispering yes. It is the client who finds you by chance, the idea that arrives in silence, the door that opens when you had given up knocking. Grace appears when the alchemist stops forcing and starts flowing. To live in grace, practice surrender. Do your work, plant your seeds, but release the obsession with outcome. Allow space for the universe to weave its pattern through yours. As the ancients said, when the potter forgets his hands, the wheel turns itself. Mind training, the final inner practice. From the Tibetan book of Lojong, one of the most powerful exercises is Tonglen, the practice of giving and receiving. Let us translate it into the language of wealth. Inhale gratitude. Each morning, breathe in appreciation for all the abundance around you, your body, your home, your skills, your opportunities. Exhale contribution. As you breathe out, imagine sending value, healing, and prosperity to your audience, your clients, your world. Repeat until peace. Do this for 5 minutes daily until your body remembers that wealth is not taken. The circle, wholeness, everything returns to its source. What you give, you receive. What you heal, heals you. The triangle, assent, mind, emotion, and action must pour the same vision. Alignment accelerates manifestation. The square, structure builds systems. Plan, measure, refine. Spirit loves form. When these three unite, wholeness, alignment, and structure, you stand at the center of your own sacred geometry. That is where miracles multiply. The great equation of wealth. The true equation of wealth is not monetary. It is energetic. Wealth equals awareness, value, flow. Awareness gives direction. Value creates magnetism. Flow sustains growth. If anyone is missing, the formula collapses. But when all three harmonize, prosperity becomes inevitable, not as luck, but as law. The modern magus. The modern magus is not a monk or a mystic in robes. He or she may be a designer, teacher, investor, farmer, or founder. Anyone who practices creation with consciousness. They know that money is not evil, it is neutral fire. It amplifies the soul of its user. In good hands, it heals nations. In lost hands, it burns them. Thus, your greatest responsibility as a wealth alchemist is not how much you earn, but who you become while earning it. Become gentle, become generous, become luminous. For the world does not need more rich people, it needs more awakened ones. The circle returns. At the end of every alchemical text, the master reminds the student, gold is not the goal, gold is the byproduct. The goal was always transformation, to awaken from fear to faith, from self-doubt to self-trust, from greed to gratitude. When you reach that point, you realize that every coin you've made, every idea you've shared, every challenge you've faced were all part of your initiation. The wealth was never outside. It was you growing into your divine potential. That is the final secret, the hidden key all the masters guarded. Be the gold and the gold will come. Final invocation, the alchemist's creed. I am the fire and the crucible. I am the dreamer and the dream. I transform all I touch, not by force, but by faith. My wealth is the reflection of my awakened mind, and my legacy, the light I leave behind. So go forth, reader, creator, builder, dreamer. You hold the three ancient keys, the law of inner gold, master your mind, the sacred exchange, master your flow, the philosopher's fortune, master your purpose. Carry them not as relics, but as living fire. For every act of creation born from awareness expands the fortune of humanity itself. You are not merely becoming rich, you are becoming the alchemist of destiny. Epilogue. The circle of gold. The treasure you seek is not found in the vaults of the world, but in the stillness of your awakened mind. The journey ends where it began, in the quiet chamber of the self. You began this book searching for the three ancient keys to wealth, wisdom that could open doors the modern world had closed. You have walked through the halls of alchemy, studied the nature of exchange, witnessed the power of thought, and rediscovered that wealth is not a number, it is a state of being. When the alchemists completed their great work, they did not simply produce gold, they achieved illumination. Their reward was understanding, serenity, and mastery over their own energy. The same is true for you now. You are not the person who first opened these pages. You have evolved. You have seen through illusions that chained you to scarcity, fear, or doubt. You have met your inner goldsmith, that calm intelligence that transforms every circumstance into opportunity. The world outside may still speak of recessions and rivalries, but inside you, something eternal has awakened, a consciousness that knows how to create, circulate, and multiply abundance. This is not mere self-help, it is self-realization. When the alchemists completed their great work, they did not simply produce gold, they achieved illumination. Their reward was understanding, serenity, and mastery over their own energy. The same is true for you now. You are not the person who first opened these pages. You have evolved. You have seen through illusions that chained you to scarcity, fear, or doubt. You have met your inner goldsmith, that calm intelligence that transforms every circumstance into opportunity. The world outside may still speak of recessions and rivalries, but inside you, something eternal has awakened, a consciousness that knows how to create, circulate, and multiply abundance. This is not mere self-help, it is self-realization. When the Tibetan masters taught mind training, they were not preparing monks for meditation alone. They were training them to live awake in every moment, buying, selling, teaching, farming, leading, loving. The true practitioner turns all actions into enlightenment. Likewise, the true alchemist turns all moments into prosperity. You now carry that flame, the sacred oath of continuation. If you have reached this point, it means you are ready to live as a wealth alchemist in your own domain. Your laboratory is your life. Your ingredients are your time, words, thoughts, and relationships. Each day, repeat this inner vow. Today I will think like gold, radiant, generous, unbreakable, pure. I will give before I grasp, serve before I sell, and trust before I fear. I will be the light that attracts wealth naturally. With this consciousness, even the simplest acts, a message sent, a sale made, a kindness offered, become sacred exchanges in the grand economy of the universe, the legacy within you. History remembers those who created not just riches but renaissance, those who lived their truth so completely that their presence became a blessing. When you master these teachings, you join that lineage, the line of wise builders, healers, artists, visionaries, and entrepreneurs who transform civilization by transforming themselves. Your wealth is not your possessions. Your wealth is your presence. Your true fortune is measured not in what you keep, but in what you contribute. And the more light you pour into the world, the more light the world reflects back to you. The final word, gratitude. To you, the reader and listener, across continents and cultures, thank you for opening your heart to ancient wisdom, for daring to question what wealth truly means, for listening, reflecting, and choosing to rise. May your life become a masterpiece of abundance and grace. May your creations lift others from darkness to clarity. May your wealth serve the awakening of humanity. And when others ask how you became so magnetic, so peaceful, so powerful, smile gently and say, I remembered who I am, the alchemist of my own destiny. Acknowledgement. To the invisible teachers, the sages of Tibet, the masters of alchemy, the dreamers and thinkers whose insights shaped humanity, we bow. To every entrepreneur, artist, and soul who turns vision into value, we honor you. And to you, reader, the modern mystic, this work is dedicated. For you are the living continuation of an ancient promise, that the mind once awakened can create worlds, that spirit once realized can command matter, and that love, once embodied, can turn the simplest life into a legend. Go forth and create, for the fire within you is eternal. The End, written under the Saint Mrui Archives, a timeless manuscript on wealth, mind, and the golden spirit.